first team meeting. We're super excited to have you guys here. We know that October 13th is a little bit late for the team to get started, but obviously things are different this year, and your coaches have met, and we have taken in the guidance from the school and kind of what you guys have been, handling with the classes and stuff. And we think we have a good plan to continue team activities now, and we can't wait to talk to you more about it once I figure out where my mouse is. Okay, so one thing is that we did do a webinar, like I said, a few weeks ago to talk through the basics of the team. So if you are a rookie and you missed that, there is some material that you can definitely watch later. But for now, I'll just go over something really quick, is that, who is Team 341? We are the Wissahickon High School Robotics Team, grades 9 through 12. And as of now, we have 10 coaches and industrial mentors, and we are 57 students strong. That includes all of our returning veterans who chose to continue this year, and all of our new rookies that we just gained in the last few weeks. We were founded in 1999 by previous Wissahickon High School teacher Alan Ostro. We were founded in the fall of that year. We recently celebrated our 20th anniversary as a team, and that was really exciting for us, and we take a lot of pride in our heritage. Our team motto is "We build people." And so while the objective of our team is to obviously build a robot and go and compete, our main goal as coaches and mentors is to build up the next generation of people and students just like yourself. So we are very focused on soft skills as well, like teamwork, communication, collaboration, stuff like that. So we are really focused on building everyone up as people. And I would think too that even the coaches and mentors feel like they're being built up too, because we learn a lot by doing this program as well. We are a First Hall of Fame team. So first is our overarching organization, which you may have seen on the virtual open house. But we were inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2010 by winning an international award called the Chairman's Award. And what this basically means is that our team is held up as a standard for others, both on and off the field. And you'll learn more about this as we go on this year. So right now I want to go through the coaches that we have returning this year, as well as one additional new face for veterans on the call who didn't see the virtual open house. We have a new official mentor that we're really excited about. But for parents and rookies that are on the call that didn't see the open house, we'll go through everyone again and you can meet the coaches. So my name is Kirsten. I graduated Wissahickon High School in 2003. I was on the team as a student for 3 years, and I've been coaching at some capacity ever since. I am the head coach now, and professionally, I am a user experience designer for a healthcare marketing company. I help the team with really everything, but my true loves are media and scouting and PR and website. So Kara, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hi, my name is Kara. I did not go to Wissahickon. I grew up in Michigan, and I was on a team at my high school there. I went to college at Michigan Tech and got a degree in material science and engineering, and now I work doing quality assurance in a steel plant. And on the team, I primarily help with mechanical design and build and organization, just helping keep the team running.
Sean?
Hey everybody, I'm Sean. I am a Wissahickon graduate as well. I graduated in 2012. I went on to Drexel where I got a master's in electrical engineering, and now I work for a company building a robot that follows magnetic tape around in a factory. For our team, I focus more on the game strategy aspects, breaking down a game and understanding it, but I also help with the design and build of the robot.
Adam.
I'm Adam. I'm also a Wissahickon and Daisy alum. I have a master's in electrical engineering. I got it from Penn State. I work there as a R&D engineer. Right now, focusing on navigation stuff. And on the team, I do a lot of the programming and electrical.
Is Frank on the call? I don't think he is. I didn't see him. Okay. Frank is another mentor that came to us actually from Comcast way back when they put out a call for employees if they wanted to mentor teams, and he actually took up the call, and he has a lot of experience when it comes to electronics and just design in general. So he helps the team a lot with our Sparky's Robot World project, which I'll talk about later, which is our largest outreach effort and little robots that we take to community demonstrations. Scott England.
Hi, I'm one of the Scotts. I am not a WIS alum, but I did do FIRST back in high school with a team in Virginia back in the dark ages of the 90s. Where it was on a team there, went to Virginia Tech, started a team there, got my bachelor's and master's in, let's say, mechanical engineering. It had a different name, but we'll go with that. From there, went to Texas, worked at NASA for a decade, worked with a big team down there called the Robonauts. Tried to move back up here because Northeast Pennsylvania was more or less home. So got a job with Johnson & Johnson doing human factors engineering. And shortly after moving here, found the nearest robotics team. And sure enough, Daisy's right down the street. So here I am. And on the team, I mostly work with design and build, kind of 3D printing stuff when necessary and whatever odds and ends are required.
Thank you. Is Mr. Rayhack on the call? I don't think so. So Mr. Rayhack is another mentor on our team. He actually had 3 students go through the program. So he was a parent and is now a coach. He helps us with a ton of oddball requests, although his full-time job is in software. He's really, really handy to have around the shop and also helps us pack for competition. Just a really great resource for almost everything. David?
Hey everyone, I'm David. I was not on Daisy. I actually would have been probably on Mo back in my high school days if I knew what FIRST was, but glad to be involved with the team now. I got my master's from Hopkins in mechanical engineering a little while ago, mostly focusing on biomechanics, that kind of stuff. And I design spinal implants and instruments that are put in with a robot now.
Scott Richardson.
Hey everybody, I'm Scott as well. I did not do robotics in high school. It was not offered to me, unfortunately. I grew up near Buffalo, New York. I went to college for digital media arts and got a bachelor's in that. Now I work as a video producer in the financial industry. My first ramp riot was in 2007, I want to say, and I've been kind of coaching and mentoring since about 2010 with the team. And I do media, video, photography, that kind of stuff.
Sweet. And Paul.
So I'm the new mentor this year. This was my first year. I grew up in Virginia. I did not do robotics. And I think I'm the oddball here. I have a PhD in biochemistry, no engineering or anything like that. I now work for Johnson & Johnson doing drug discovery work in the area. And we moved here about 3 years ago from Boston and found Daisy and have been hanging out, helping with field parts and things like that for the last few years, and decided that it was time to make it more official and help mentor all the great students here.
Thank you. So veterans, maybe you learned something new through that. Not sure, but hopefully you did. So like I've been mentioning, watch the open house. So if you are a rookie and you want more information about what FIRST is, what our ethos is about, what our team is about, definitely check that out. One of the major kind of new changes that we're making this year is that we are recording our meetings, which I think, yeah, this one's recording, and we will be posting them. So if you do miss a meeting, we're hopeful, that you'll be able to catch up on your own. So this open house is posted at tinyurl.com/341openhouse. And I did make a spreadsheet in the student Google Drive, which we'll go over, that will house all these video links as well. So they'll be really easy for you to find later. But definitely check that video out when you can. So a little recruitment update. So applications for the team are now closed. Usually each year we have students apply and then we go through an interview process, and then we kind of look at our numbers and see how many students we really have capacity for given how many coaches we have. And this year we didn't really need to do that because we're all virtual. So we're gonna have everyone join this party, and we're gonna see how this all goes in this virtual space. But for now, applications are closed just because we're getting started and it's hard to catch students up. That being said, if you do have a friend that kind of missed the boat and really wants to join, we can still take new people for the next couple weeks. But ideally, people would already be on board right now, or they will be very soon. So definitely tell your friends to get on board now if they're not already. We had 22 applicants this year, which is 7 less than last year. I think this is pretty good considering the fact that we couldn't be in the school posting flyers and stuff like that. We couldn't have people rubbing shoulders with other people saying, oh, you should join the team. So however you got here, 22 applicants, we're really happy you found us. Hopefully it was through something like, the video we put together, or maybe you saw something on social, but either way, we're really glad you're here. The way it breaks down is that we have 14 9th graders, 7 10th graders, and 1 11th grader who joined this year. So for perspective, that's 35 returning students from last year, and our team is 57 currently. And I was like, oh, I hope those numbers add up because they're all taken separately, and they do, so we're good. So that's a little recruitment update. So veterans versus rookies, I kind of just wanted to see what our team makeup was like. So veterans were sitting at 61%, and rookies make up about 40% of the team. And then our grade breakdown is as such. 9th graders are about a quarter, 10th is about a third, 11th is about a third, and our 12th grade class is actually pretty small this year. So sub-teams. We didn't change anything here. These sub-teams are the same as last year. But for rookies on the call, these are the kind of departments of our team. If you filled out the general survey already, thank you so much for doing that very promptly. You may have seen that we ask you to indicate an interest in one of these sub-teams. And these sub-teams are really how we organize our training as well. So you don't need to pick one, right now and stick to it, and you can never ever change. But we do want you to start thinking about what you might be interested in, and doing trainings in a variety of different sub-teams so you can kind of figure out what you're most interested in. So the way the sub-teams break down now, I took the results from the general survey, which were over half people responded. So it's a pretty good cross-section, but definitely not 100% accurate yet. But we have 45% interested in robot design and build, and a really great programming contingency at 18%. I also put on there an undecided exploring category because I didn't want anyone to feel pressured quite yet. We are just starting out, so no need to, put you in a category yet. So we do have some people that are interested in exploring. Then we also have media, game strat, and public relations website, which is always usually a pretty small team. So what does a typical school year look like? So we are in the time period of October to December, and this is the time period that we usually embark on our skills training. So as veterans, we may have gone through a year last year and we never learned how to, CAD sheet metal, or we never learned how to animate something in After Effects, or we never were able to program the Swerve robot. This is your time to really examine what skills you didn't have last year and go after them. Figure out what your weaknesses are and really arm yourself for what's to come in the spring, whatever that may be. So January through February in a typical school year, we would have a kickoff. So the first weekend in January would be typically when we would get our new game challenge. This year is going to be different, which we will talk about. There are 3 kind of categories of other activities we'll be doing. And then we typically would embark on game strategy and robot construction. March and May would typically be competitions, robot improvements. We have an end of year banquet, and then kind of review our performance as a team and individuals. But this year will be different for reasons that we'll explain and things you'll see. So typically our participation policy for the team is divided into the different periods. So it's the training period, the build period, and then competition season. But this year, we don't really know what that is. What's ahead of us right now is the fall. And all we know now is that we should work on ourselves and we should learn new skills and really explore this time period as we typically do. So this kind of structure is kind of blown out of the water right now. So for this year, what our participation policy will look like for the fall at least is we would like everyone to attend at least one training session per week, and you'll see what that looks like when we go over the schedule. We would hope you could aim for around 80% of the total sessions within your sub-team. So if you say, you know, I'm gonna try programming, I'm really into programming, I can tell you right now, they're gonna meet on Thursdays. And so if you can make a concerted effort to attend 80% of those, you know, obviously you might not be able to make every week, but if you could, that is what we're considering is like kind of a good faith effort. And also we don't want you to fall behind because, you know, it'd be nice for you to have that live interaction with our programming coach rather than just watching the recordings, but you certainly could do that too. And then attend the team check-ins. So these kinds of meetings where we're all in a room together are going to be difficult because there's so many of you and I can only see probably 20 of you right now, which is unfortunate, but we do need to kind of meet as a larger team too to touch base and make sure that, you know, if the mechanical team is CADing a piece for the programmers to use later, we just have to make sure that we're gelling, especially for some of these projects that we're working on. So that is the very loose and very light participation policy for the fall. The spring will definitely be different because we don't know what we're doing yet. We're not sure how much of a lift the different challenges will be, and we'll determine the schedule from there. Any questions so far? Because this is a meeting, not a webinar, so you can definitely unmute and ask questions if you want. Or we can talk at the end. All right, everyone is super paying attention. So last year's stats, we do this kind of exercise as like a game each year, but this year I'm just going to show them because we didn't really get to finish. But our total student build hours, which this time period was kickoff, what we call kickoff, which is the beginning weekend of January through competition when we were able to compete once last year. We put in 4,900 hours towards our robot from the student side. The average hours for a student and build season was 97, and the most average hours per week by a student was 26.5. But just for perspective, 12 was only required. So we have some very dedicated students on our team, and the hard work paid off because we were able to compete and be pretty awesome. So we do want to clarify that, you know, that typical school year that we went through isn't really what's happening this year. First, the overarching organization that gives us our game each year did announce on September 24th that they are opening team registration, and we did register and we are a team this year, but it does not include any in-person gameplay. So they're going to evaluate the possibility of adding in-person gameplay later in the season, and they're going to reevaluate that come January. So as of now, teams shouldn't expect to play at all in a typical competition for this year. It hurts to read it, it hurts to put this up, but it also is kind of oddly comforting because at least first is taking a stand and telling us what to expect, and so we won't spend as many months hoping, even though I will hope that maybe we can compete before the seniors leave. So a question that we didn't go over in the open house was how much does everything on the team cost? I'm not really sure how many parents are on the line with us, but for those of you who are new, right now the team does not cost anything. There's no reason to incur a charge and, you know, order t-shirts really right now because we are not going anywhere. If you guys, if there is an overwhelming desire to order t-shirts just to, you know, have that camaraderie, we certainly can order them soon. But we typically have a t-shirt and a polo order each year because they're our uniform when we go to competition. And then the typical cost of going to the World Championship is around $700. So there is no cost for the team to be part of the team. We don't have like membership dues or buy-in or anything like that. It's just, you know, what we order as in terms of apparel. There is sometimes elective apparel like this hoodie I'm wearing, like stuff like that, but none of that is required. And then to address the World Championship, because we are in the first Hall of Fame, we do get to go to the World Championship each year. And it has been rescheduled for later in 2021. But again, we don't know if it will actually happen. If it does, this could be a ballpark price for it. But we don't know as of now. So team code of conduct, this kind of stuff is important to just kind of generalize and really realize what our team is about. We are a team of mutual respect. So things like being on time, if you say you're going to do something or be somewhere, definitely do it. Be respectful of others, especially of people who are trying to help you, whether they're rookies or veterans. Or coaches, and everyone is, giving their time to be part of this. So having that respect for everyone as we work through these challenges is really necessary and will make all of our times better. There's a bunch of notes here about putting back things that you take out, but we don't need to worry about that since we're all in front of our computer. Being safe, setting a good example on social media, making sure that we're encouraging other people in our community and each other, and always remembering to be graciously professional. And what that means is basically, we are a robotics competition team, which is out to compete against other teams, but we are always wanting to compete against people at their best. So making sure that we're helping others and building the community up. So all the rules related to the team are in our team handbook, and we're still working through the details. But once we send it out to everyone, it needs to be signed by both the student and the parent or guardian, and it will be in your inbox soon. We're still working out the details related to the COVID pandemic and how we want to word things and all the participation levels, etc. But all the rules related to the team are in this handbook, just related to different, like full-time, part-time, which we're not doing right now. So a lot of it will not really be pertinent right now. So STIMS is just something I wanted to touch on really briefly because we will be sending out an email about this. And STIMS is basically first system to have students register for the program and then also complete a media release and a consent and release form. And this needs to be filled out by the parents or guardians. So instructions for that will also be coming into your inbox soon, but I just wanted to explain it here so that you can anticipate its arrival. The system is a little bit of a pain, so be patient with it and I'll try to help you as much as I can, but because it's not our system, sometimes it does involve a call to first, but hopefully you will be able to avoid that. So modes of communication, this is really for the rookies, but you should be checking your email daily. A lot of our communication, or most of our communication, comes over email. And then we also send out surveys to kind of see what where team interest lies, what sessions they might be attending, or even just to vote on certain things related to team matters. So definitely reply to every survey. Even if you know that you can't attend training for the week or something, definitely let us know and say that you're not available, because then if only one student signs up for a session, we know that it might be a better idea to reschedule it or to wait so that everyone can have the opportunity to be live. So for the forum, I believe, we sent out instructions for that already and have had quite a few registrations. You should be checking this around every 2 days. I know the forum has definitely had its ups and downs related to activity, but it is really the only place for us to all come together and discuss topics in a better kind of in-depth way. And Schoology, I know that actually the rookies probably aren't on the Schoology yet because I would have to add you, but we don't really use Schoology for regular information exchange just because it's a bit restrictive and doesn't really allow us to do all the things that we need to do when it comes to communicating with students and their parents and different sub-teams and stuff like that. So when it comes to the team forum, we do ask that you be respectful at all times. You know, don't use unsavory language. This isn't a place for you to come in and like shred some other team, because like I said, we are trying to build up the community in general. Yeah, so don't put down other teams. Remain in the spirit of gracious professionalism. Don't respond before reading. Make sure that when you're responding to exchanges, you're really reading what the other person is saying. I've seen a lot of, you know, we might be debating something related to the robot and people just automatically assume what someone's saying, then they write like a heated response. And, you know, that doesn't help. Just slow down and kind of read what we're talking about and, you know, try to figure out an appropriate response. Because sometimes the robot discussions can get a little crazy. So think carefully about where you are placing a post. We do have a bunch of different categories related to different parts of the team. So obviously we have different areas for sub teams and stuff like that. So just take a look before you start a new post and figure out where it would, you know, best live. And keep your credentials to yourself. So, you know, if you give your username and password to someone and then they come on the forum and write, you know, stuff that isn't really helpful or appropriate, you're going to get blamed for it because that's your username. So definitely keep it close. And obviously don't share a forum with other teams. That should be obvious. It's just a place for us to all communicate together. So the team Google Calendar is a place where we post the schedule of all the things happening or upcoming. We send weekly emails. So the email you received, I believe it was on Monday, will happen every week, probably on Sunday or Saturday as we move forward. But the schedule is also available on the Google Calendar. So if you wanted to take a screenshot of this URL now, it's really handy to add to your phone or to your own personal set of Google Calendars. And then you can kind of see how the team's schedule meshes with yours. Also, everyone should have received an invitation to the team's Google Drive. We do have a student Google Drive where we share files throughout the year. So the thing that's in there now is that spreadsheet I mentioned of where we're going to post recordings for meetings and trainings. So that file that's in there now, you can view if you are able to access the folder, and you can see the link to the virtual open house, and then you'll be able to see the link to this video after I upload it to YouTube. If you don't have access to this drive, just shoot me an email and we can get you fixed up. It is a Google service, so you may need a Gmail account or another way to access it if you don't have one. So keys to success. It's definitely really important to check your email as much as you can. Things change, you know, if we had a session scheduled for a Tuesday night and, you know, coach, you know, had a conflict all of a sudden and had to cancel, which doesn't happen often, but if it did, you want to stay close to your email because you don't want to be, you know, wasting your time then if a session was canceled or some other news went out that you missed for a few days. Definitely check the forum and, you know, keep active on there so you can see what's happening or what other students are saying. Respond to all surveys. It's a kind of a way to participate and is something that we do look at sometimes if we're wondering, you know, if where a student went or if they're not participating as much, we'll see, oh, well, how many surveys have they responded to? Are they keeping up? Just to make sure that things are all right. So communication, we always say this like every year, we, you know, participation policy or not, what we most care about is communication and transparency. So if you are having an issue, you know, you can't keep up, you have a conflict, you're trying to keep up with your homework, you know, all that stuff comes first, schoolwork, family, you know, that kind of stuff. So if you have a problem, you know, don't think you cannot show up and hide, you know, just come and tell us. We get it, you know, things are happening all the time, especially these days. So if you have a problem or concern, or even if you just need extra support for something, just email us because that's what we're here for and we'd love to hear from you. And most of all, invest the time in yourself. You know, we are here to provide these sessions and be a resource to you. And as you've heard from the introductions, you know, There's a lot of awesome coaches and mentors on this team that do a lot of cool things. So definitely take the time to get to know each of us and, leverage our knowledge for yourself and to learn more. So definitely take that step. And I know it'll be hard over Zoom and we can't see each other and it's weird, but if you can take that extra step, it'll really go a lot further. So fall training. So what is fall training? So if you remember the schedule that I put up earlier, usually we don't actually start building a robot until January. So we always spend the fall working on our skills. So it's definitely a really important time of year. Like I said, for veterans returning, you want to work on skills that you don't have. If you kind of rest on your laurels and don't, build up from where you started last year, you won't have these extra skills to utilize in the spring. We usually do things like safety training and other required skills for the rookies. We do have some, required training that we'll be going through. Probably not safety training until we get into a shop, but we do have other things that we'll be presenting, and we just have general workshops and seminars. And we are hoping to do some hands-on stuff with some take-home kits. And basically, it's all about learning new things and putting yourself out there. So what is fall training going to look like this year? So we will be hosting virtual training and work sessions on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights. This is different from the virtual open house where we said it was going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. We moved the Friday to Monday because that worked better for our coach's schedule. So hopefully that doesn't hurt anyone's schedule. And then if we need any longer sessions, we're kind of looking at Saturday mornings. So that's kind of the regular kind of cadence that you can get used to. And even further, we're dividing the days by topic. So members will choose their training based on their interests. So, what sub-team you might be interested in, or even if you're interested in programming, but you really want to learn about photography, you have the opportunity to do that. So on Mondays, we'll be having game strategy and media sessions. On Tuesdays, we'll have CAD and mechanical concept sessions. And on Thursdays, we'll have electrical and programming. Alex Krosky was really excited about CAD. I can see you. So if that helps you plan, if you are a student that's super interested in game strategy and you're like, oh my goodness, I have like piano lessons on Mondays, I'll never be able to go. This is one of those times where you should talk to us, shoot us an email. These are, we could potentially change them if a bunch of people say like, this doesn't work for me and they're key players in a certain sub-team. But this is what we have for now. So definitely let us know if you have a conflict, but that is what you can expect. And what we're doing is we're running 2 sessions a night at 45 minutes each. So we've said this in a few past meetings, but we really don't want to inundate you guys with 3-hour training sessions on one topic. I mean, do you want to sit for 3 hours in CAD? Don't shake your head. I know you're going to like it. Yep, okay, there it is. Maybe some rookies wouldn't want to. So we're really trying to make it 45 minutes of super interesting material or camaraderie and working together, so that it's not a huge chunk of your night, because obviously you have homework to do too, and you probably spent all day in front of a computer looking at a talking head. So we're trying to be very cognizant of that. And then the last thing too is we're waiting for guidance on in-person. So we know that hybrid is a thing, starting in November, but we're not really sure what that means for us as a team. Are we allowed to come in? Can we host sessions with, say, 5 students? We're going to be working through all of that, obviously, as the school kind of opens up, and we'll change accordingly. I know that some of our coaches have sessions that they'd really like to do in person, and we're hoping maybe we'll be able to do some small group stuff in December, but we really don't know at this time, and we'll have to do whatever the school advises us to do. So what does that all look like? We have a spreadsheet here that we've been keeping up and trying to fill in. This is kind of a sample of what October looks like right now. We're working through kind of filling out all this as we go. But you can see Monday is game strat and media, Tuesday is CAD and mech, and Thursday is electrical and programming. And then it just kind of goes from there. So in November, we have some stuff filled out as well. So every Tuesday night will be CAD. Adam basically has the Thursday night block for programming and electrical, and he's got his curriculum going. I know Sean has stuff, and Scott Richardson has a whole media arc planned. So that's kind of what we're working to fill in. We're getting our presentations together and ready for you guys, and that's how we're going to roll at least through November, and definitely likely into December. So at this point, are there any questions? Feel free to ask them. How does this sound so far? I got a thumbs up. I got 2 thumbs up. I got 3. All right. All right, cool. So some fall projects, right? So the training and the days and the schedule, that's all fine for rookies, right? But veterans, what are we going to do? So we do have some other things we want to work on and some other goals. Before I get into that and let Adam and Sean speak, I wanted to just go over what Sparky's Robot World is in a little bit more detail, since some of these projects relate. And I know we have some people on the call that don't know what Sparky's Robot World is. So as I kind of teased out earlier in the meeting, Sparky's Robot World is our community outreach program that we actually won a grant for in the amount of $30,000 from Dow Chemical many years ago now. The plan was always to make multiple robots that students or kids at heart of all ages could drive and complete a goal. And the goal with these robots is to pick up kind of 6-inch proof balls, cycle them into the robot, and then shoot them out, much like a pitching machine, and then try to hit a goal. And so you can see in this photo in the middle, there's 3 goals, a blue, green, and yellow one. And we've made a lot of improvements to this project over time. And this is one of the projects I was talking about that our coach Frank works on. And right now we have 3 robots that play this game, and we have these goals, and we have a field playing surface, and we have field borders and all that kind of stuff. So it's really come along, and we actually have really awesome controllers you can see in some of those pictures. But we do have some other goals for it, and some of the projects we're thinking about working on are part of this. So Sean and Adam, do you guys want to take it away?
Sure, I'll start with the greeter bot concept here. Way back when Sparky's Robot World was created, our founder, Mr. Ostro, wanted to have this robot that stands in front of the exhibit that would invite the audience to come up and try out the robot and interact with the audience, doing things like recognizing their faces, saying hi, moving animatronic arms, things like that. So now that we sort of have the time, we sort of want to focus on that a little bit. So it's going to involve elements from all parts of the team. We're going to have the CAD team sort of mock up and work on robot design. We'll have electrical looking at the electronics to power it. And we're going to have the programmers looking at things like computer vision, AI scripting, all that in order to do those cool features of facial recognition, sentence generation, and animation of the robot limbs.
I can do this one. For those of you who have seen Sparky's Robot World, we have a set of demonstration boards, which basically illuminate the basic concepts of how our robot works. So there's 2 main systems that actually provide the power to the things in the robot, which is the electronic system and the pneumatic system. And we have demonstration boards that shows very clearly, how the electricity is flowing through the system, or where the air is going to power the pistons and what's triggering everything. But those boards were made probably 10 years ago now, and it's time that they got a revamp and look better than they do. So for the single board PCB, as many of you veterans know, last year we completely overhauled the control system for Sparky's Robot World, and we came up with a new Arduino board that sits on top with a whole lot of hand soldered circuits and magic that makes it all work. And I thought that was a really great opportunity to get into some real world circuit boarding. And we can take that groundwork that we laid last year and create a single board circuit board that we can drop in there, and we'll do all that, but looks extremely professional and actually is professional. And I think it'll be a great opportunity to learn a little bit about electronics, because the FRC curriculum doesn't do a great job of really teaching electronics concepts. So I think this would be a really good way to actually dive into something that's a little bit more real.
And the last one, we have a Swerve robot. We barely got it functioning with some code that we downloaded from some website. So since the Swerve robot is probably the most compact and easy to transport.
Adam, what's a Swerve robot?
Oh, a Swerve robot. So it is a robot that can control which direction the wheel is pointing. So it can actually go in 360s. It can move in elaborate directions. It doesn't have to go only forward, backwards. It can pretty much go in any direction using these modules that rotate the wheel and drive. So we have one built. We are looking probably this fall, to actually develop our own code instead of downloading from somewhere else.
Cool. So these are some of the things that the coaches identified as things we could work on in the fall. We had a couple other ideas for the spring that require being in person. Like, we would love to take the rookies through the project of making a fourth Sparky. We also talked about potentially working on that secondary pit cart that's supposed to also be our pit display. Alex is really excited about that too. But those two things we tabled for now in favor of these. But this is also the stuff that I'd love to talk more about on Thursday with you guys. So veterans, if you have thoughts or opinions on these things, yays or nays even, or other ideas, I'd love to talk to you guys about that on Thursday. That's what that session is for, so that we can kind of get the ball rolling and maybe even start dividing up into teams or something. And for rookies, you're definitely, encouraged to work on these projects too, and give your input and learn along the way, because they'll be really awesome learning experiences. So for parents that are on the call, I don't know if there's a lot actually, but some may be thinking, well, how can I help the team? We've had we've had parents approach us after these in-person meetings, at the end and say, oh, I'd love to help, I don't know how. So we actually had some pretty good ideas in case, you have any of these resources available that I'm about to talk about. Students who are on the line, keep your ears peeled too, because the team can always use support. This program is really expensive to run. And fortunately though, we do have a lot of different needs. There's a lot of different ways you can help the team. So these are just a few related more so to the robot. But in the shop, if your parent or guardian is really technical, or has a wood shop, or is really handy, we can always use help around the shop. Obviously, probably more so in the springtime, but we definitely use help like this related to building playing field components, because we build all of the things that we kind of score into for the game out of wood. Even just shelving, helping us organize, or general woodworking help. If there's anyone out there that has that, resource, that can definitely help the team. As far as financially, sometimes a parent or guardian or you might work for a company that has matching monetary donations, or maybe the company will give a donation to an organization after the employee completes volunteer time. So if you're willing to volunteer with the team, we can, give you some tasks to do, and then, the company would give a donation because of that effort. As far as fabrication and materials, do you work in a machine shop or an engineering firm that has access to specialized fabrication equipment? We have sponsors that already do things like water jet, just cutting out parts, bending parts, stuff like that. But they are businesses. So when we come with a need and we need it in 3 days, that does not happen. So any sponsors or organization or contacts we can make to kind of spread the load across sponsors will only help speed things along for us. Also, do you work for a company that can source cheap or, cut off scraps of things like polycarb, aluminum, or MDF? We could certainly take that off of your hands for you. So again, if your parent is not on the line, if you could maybe show them this video later or ask them about these things, every little bit helps. And if you look at the Zoom call, we are a large team and we do need a lot of support. So anything related to this would be amazing. So I'm having a gnat, okay. So other things that are really low priority now, but I just wanted to touch on while we're all together and kind of orient some of the rookies. During build season, we usually have meals together on the weekends. So sometimes our parents will bring in meals for that. And that's kind of something that we usually do each year. We usually have an end of year banquet, having the planning done for that. And then if we do go anywhere, we usually tow our trailer, which has Daisy inside. So if you are starting to think about how you can help the team and maybe you have a truck with a hitch, that is one way you could potentially contribute. So as for 2021, for those of you who have been keeping on top of your first announcements, on September 24th, they also did announce the kind of 3 generalized competitions or things that we could be doing this year. So one is that a game design challenge. So we could design our own first robotics game and then compete for judged awards. Winning concepts will be considered for use in future official games, which is pretty exciting. We actually have some experience with this as a team. So our coach Sean is our strategy leader, and he has worked on a lot of previous games with students, like strategy leads. So this is definitely would be a passion project and something that we could really knock out of the park. So this could be really exciting for our team. The second one they're calling the Innovation Challenge, and this is about there's cheering already. And this is about identifying a real world problem related to the season's theme and designing a solution, building a business model, and delivering a pitch to compete for judged awards. So we did actually compete in a CAD competition that worked to solve a problem related to the pandemic, which was the problem that our team identified was limiting human contact with zoo animals. So we designed a robot to clean bedding out of cages. And we actually won 3rd place for that, which was really cool, from the company that makes our CAD software. And so I think we're pretty pumped to try this challenge again, so to speak, even though it's a little bit different and official now. I think that we have some really great skills to leverage towards this. Not only do we have a really strong CAD team, but the business side of it and the presentation side and our PR team is pretty awesome. So I think this could all really come together and really leverage a lot of our team skills. And lastly, the one that they're calling First Robotics at Home. So teams show off what their robots and drivers can do in a skills challenge and illustrate their robots' technical qualities by sharing information with judges remotely. So this is basically in lieu of an in-person competition, things that we can do related to the robot that we built last year. So for those of you new in the room, we did go through a regular season basically last year, and we got to compete once. So we do have a robot, and we are allowed to reuse that robot this year. So we can also improve it, which is another thing we could talk about on Thursday. But we don't quite know, I guess, what we're going to be measured against. So we can figure all that out as a team and what you guys want to do. But this one relates to last year's robot and any improvements we want to make. I am tired of talking. This is the end of the presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing so I can see more people. And are there any questions at all? A lot of people turned off their video. They're back, okay. I know it was kind of long, but shorter than the normal meetings. So, you have to give me props for that. But does anyone have any questions at all on some of the things that we're thinking about for this year? definitely let us know.
Catherine, do you want to talk about the Discord really quick?
Okay, so our Discord, you guys are actually very good with joining. I think like by this point, 19 out of the 22 rookies have joined, which is pretty good. But our Discord is a less formal way to communicate than the forum. I explained it a little bit more in the email, but there are a bunch of different channels. It's broken up into sub-teams. There's a gaming channel, there's like a meme channel. And it's basically just to talk to one another and have like a space to do that in a more informal manner. So on Wednesday, tomorrow, we will be playing Among Us. If there are more than 10 people, we will split up into 2 lobbies. If there are more than 20, we'll split up into 3. But yeah, we talk, play games. It's very fun. I highly
Be there or be square.
Yeah. So I highly encourage all of you to join. It's very fun.
Yeah, so the Discord is a student-run initiative for you guys to have fun and talk amongst each other, but the forum is the official communication and where also the coaches are. So any of our rookies have any questions? Love to hear from you guys, even if it's just, I don't know, what's the question? I don't know. Any question at all? How do I access the Google Drive? Did everyone get the link for that? Nice, okay. Anybody? Any parents on the call that have any questions?
I do have something. Look out in your emails for a couple surveys. If you're in the programming team, it's going to ask you for your GitHub account so you can get linked up to the programming team's account. If you plan to do any of the CAD this year, there's also going to be another survey with instructions on how to create your account and a survey to submit so I can link you into our account so we can minimize the time during the lessons to do the setup, because that would probably take an hour by itself. So please do those surveys as soon as you can. Yeah.
Hey, Adam, what's CAD and what's GitHub?
Sure. CAD is computer-aided drafting. Is that?
Design.
So that is the Onshape software that we use. That helps us design our robots. It's all online, so you can use a web browser and you're fine. It allows us to be very collaborative and allows multiple people to work on the same parts at the same time, which is one of the reasons why we were so successful with our competition there and got 3rd place. GitHub, that is a version management sort of for code that the programmers use. It also has some project management capabilities in there as well. So that hosts our entire repository of robot code from past seasons. We'll host our code for the future seasons and any other projects we're doing in the meantime.
Adam, why should I learn CAD?
Everything we do on the team revolves around CAD. You may not believe it, but it does.
Media and PR do not, however.
You use CAD. You use renders of our CAD.
I know. That's why I was like,
It's all intertwined. It's all
not
intertwined.
exist without the CAD.
Yeah, we can't do anything without CAD. Basically, all of the parts that we design, that makes sure that when we actually manufacture it, it's all going to fit together. We're not just willy-nilly drilling holes. It's how we communicate to our sponsors what we want from them. If we just told them we want a part that's bent 45 degrees, it would mean nothing to them. They need to see the drawing of it. So that's what CAD is useful for. And yeah, pretty much every sub team, even electrical, even though they didn't want to admit it, uses CAD. So yeah.
For a different perspective, Krosky, why should you learn CAD?
Because it's necessary and it's fun and you'll be a cool cat.
Oh, so I think that while I was giving my little spiel, one of the bigger, I guess, misses or gaps we should fill as a team for our new students is what the heck the game challenge was last year and what we built. Is there any students on the line that would be willing to prep like a 15-minute, presentation of what we built last year so that we can talk about it on Thursday during that meeting?
Did I hear Design Binder?
Although we do have FMA Plus's episode, I guess, now that I think about it. But that's like really in depth. Like maybe we can just kind of make it a little bit more approachable. Anyone interested in throwing that together?
I can make the slides pretty. If somebody else makes the slides.
All right, we'll expect big things.
Are we gonna go like part by part?
No, I think like if you guys, the veterans that were, involved in the robot construction last year or whatever, maybe you could just share what the game challenge was and then talk about the robot we built and why.
Maybe we could use the kickoff video from first to explain the game challenge.
Yeah. So any takers on that? Jonathan, strategy. I see you talking away over there.
What's up?
Oh yeah, what happened? What's going on? I see you talking the whole meeting.
So yeah, the strategy sum team mainly analyzes the game after kickoff.
Stop.
Wait, what?
No, Jonathan, no.
I'm confused.
No, I'm asking if some veterans can put together a small presentation for Thursday's 8 p.m. about last year's challenge. Sean, what strategy decisions we made and a brief tour of the robot.
Yeah, I can probably do that.
Okay, it doesn't have to be just you. I was looking at you because your strategy, but maybe like Krosky and Jackson and stuff can work on, and Alex Chin or whatever can work. So, all right.
I would like to preference I will only work on this if Alex Shin also has to work on this.
So I can work on this, but I won't be available tonight at all. And then like if you didn't know, tomorrow's the PSAT for the juniors in school. So and I can probably work on it tomorrow night though.
There you go, Krosky. Your dream came true. All right,
By the way,
cool.
good luck, juniors.
Good luck, guys. Seems so soon. Okay, well, that's all I have then. Get back to studying. Thank you so much. Respond to the surveys if you can, and we will be back here Thursday at 7 for Adam's programming seminar, and he'll need your GitHub usernames before then. And then we'll talk at 8 about our projects and anything else that you guys want to talk about. And we'll talk about last year's game and our robot. Sound good? All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Have a good one.